What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back once again, and you already know what it is when you see me in front of your TV, when you see me on, well, you can't see me on your radio. That's crazy, right? When you see me on your mobile phone, your laptop, computer, wherever it is, I appreciate you for watching, coming through, hanging out, stopping by, spending your time, some drinking conversation. Ain't got no drinks, but we got conversation. One thing is for certain and three things are for sure. Number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. Number three, whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And number three is probably the most important of them all. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'm glad you asked. It's a three-step process. You like, you subscribe, you share. You like, you subscribe, you share. Sharing is the most important one because sharing is caring. And once you've shared with someone, you've cared for that person. And we could all use a little bit of care. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there is just too little of. Shout out, if you know, use the hashtag. All right, we're going to get into what we came to get into today, and you know what that is. What up, though, Belinda Brown? She says, go Lions. Shout out to you. Are the Detroit Lions in the market for a new strength and training staff? Why did I choose this topic? Because there's a lot of people out there that want to blame the injuries on everything except for the human beings that are being injured. Let's make that clear. There's a lot of people out there that want to blame the injuries on everything except for the violence of the National Football League. Let me make that clear. There's a lot of people out there that want to blame the injuries on everything except for the fact that some players just have a propensity to get injured. Let me make that even clearer. There are a lot of people out there that want to blame the injuries on everything except for the fact that sometimes you just get injured. Look at Aiden Hutchinson's situation. It was a freak accident where he whipped around, swung his leg into Aleem McNeil's shin, and Aleem McNeil's shin broke his leg. What could the strength and conditioning staff have done about that? I don't know. Right? Could they have put the adamantium in his leg before? Right? Has he undergone the entire Wolverine treatment? Have they put him, in the tub of cold water and they injected the adamantium into his bones and, he's overheating, he's 500 degrees, but, they got the tub of cold water trying to, if you know anything about the X-Men, you understand how Wolverine got the adamantium put into his skeleton, right? Did they do that for Hutch? No? Okay. Should they have done that for Hutch? Is that the reason why he got injured? No? Okay. So some injuries are not preventable, right? Some things you just can't prevent. Some things just happen. Hutch's injury was an example of something that just happened. It wasn't something that could be prevented. Okay? All right. Now I've got something here. It's a little bit of an article. And this article comes from none other than Mike Payton. And Mike Payton, no, it's not being controversial. I always have to start with that as a disclaimer. No, Mike Payton's not being controversial today. Let's see here. And we're going to get into some other stuff as well. We're gonna get into a preview of the Lions Dolphins whatchamacallit What do you call those? Joint practices? Okay, yes. Jordan Love is injured. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. All right, here is the article from one Mike Payton. Shout out to you. Hold on, let me pop out the chat because you already know. Yeah, I got one. I got 3 cars. I got one in the shop and one in my work is, you know what I'm saying, got me a payment coming. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. All right. So Todd Beaudry says, dumbest thing I hear so-called fans say. Right. Is that it's the strength and the training staff that has to do with all of the injuries. Okay. So like I said, we've got this article from Mike Payton of A to Z Sports. Shout out to him. At one point, he'll probably be on the show. We just got to get those subs up for him to recognize that he needs to come on the show. That's all. All right. Firing the Lions training staff and conditioning staff. Training and conditioning staff wouldn't prevent injuries. Nothing really does, says Mike Payton. All right. So he says, I get it. I know how you're feeling. Detroit Lions fans, these injuries are crazy. And the Lions just can't seem to catch a break. This week, the team added 3 more players to their season-ending injury list, and it's driving everyone crazy. And it's making everyone wonder what the Lions are doing wrong. It has to be that, right? They have to be doing something wrong, and that's why these injuries keep happening. Okay, now, I understand his sentiment, and I'll tell you exactly why there are Lions fans who believe all of this stuff. You ready for this? On Twitter, someone tweeted, or you call it X if you want. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be called, but, you know, we're having a hard time with that. We called it Twitter for, 15 years, however long? I don't know. And now you want us to call it X? It's not working out too well. Anyway, on Twitter, because someone tweeted, because if you go on X, someone posted, right? It just doesn't roll off the tongue as easily, as Twitter tweeted. So someone tweeted that the people that were put on the IR were Kenny Yeboah, Colby Sorsdal, and another guy whose name I don't know. And someone replied, WTF, are these guys starters? Brother, what? Did you just ask if Colby Sorsdal and Kenny Yeboah and that guy that I don't know starters? I mean, I feel like if you're a fan of the team, you should know who the starters are. Like, even if you don't know the starters on the offensive and defensive line, like, okay, let's say offensive line, because it kind of takes a diehard or a person who is really informed about the team to know all the starters on the offensive line. Defensive line is a little bit more flashy because they're a little bit more, they're mentioned more because they do more stuff, right? Your job as an offensive lineman is to stop other people from doing stuff. And there's not really a lot of common stats and things that, like, you can't call it something, right? Like, you can call a defensive lineman doing something to the quarterback a sack or a strip sack, right? Or you can see that he batted the ball down, or you can see that he got hurries and pressures, right? On the other side of the ball, well, he didn't give up a hurry. He didn't give up a pressure. And then if you don't know what you're looking at, you can't necessarily say too much about what just happened. Okay? So I get it if you don't know who your starters are on the offensive line, but you should know that Colby Sorsdal is not a starter. You should know that Kenny Yeboah is a tight end who's not a starter. You should know that Sam Laporta is your starter. You should know that Brock Wright is your backup. No. Okay, let's stop right there. You should know that Sam Laporta is your starter. That's just full stop. Okay? If you are a casual fan, you should know this. But there are a lot of casual fans, and there's a lot of people that are casual adjacent. What do I mean by casual adjacent? Well, they seem to have knowledge of the team, but they're kind of casual. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's continue. So he says maybe it's the training staff. That's what some Lions fans think. Some think it's to the point where they're going on social media posting stuff like this. Okay? And this is from Nate Schroeder. I'm only saying his name because he's posted in the article. Okay? Nate Schroeder says they need to fire this whole staff, and then he takes a list of the Lions medical staff and puts, like, it's a screenshot of their medical staff, and he puts all their names and stuff right there on X. Okay? So Nate Schroeder, what is that? At Nate Schroeder _. If y'all want to go find him and flame him, please do so. He put names out there. I'm putting his name out there. You saying my name, I'm saying your name too. You playing the game, I'm playing the game too. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. What up, though, Tactical Sport? What up, though, J-Rod16? What up, though, here's Johnny. What up, though, D-Nice? D-Nice says Green Bay and Buffaloes have just as many injuries as us this season, and nobody really talks about it. Never fear, Tactical Sport is here. Far too many people at the gym. I feel you. Sometimes that happens and you just be like, I'm gonna take a rain check. I can't even use no equipment. J-Rod16 says, so this off season, my dad passed on the 23rd of June. Sorry to hear that, J-Rod. He had the race car called Blue Lightning, but why I am not in often. Shout out to you, J-Rod. I hope you are doing better. I hope you are doing okay. Losing a parent is super duper tough. I lost my mother at a very, very early age, so didn't really grow up with her at all. But, I'm almost 43 years old now, and I still, feel the effects. So the pain gets muted. I don't know if it gets better, but, shout out to you, man. We're here, and we give you our condolences and hope that you and your family are doing well. Fear this sport. Tough sledding out there. Did 2-a-days when in school. 8 salt tablets. LOL. I never ate salt tablets, but yes, I did do 2-a-days and never really got injured. We will win the Super Bowl this season, Dad said, so hopefully you are correct. Never heard of him. However, I'm not mad at wanting to take a look at the strength and conditioning staff. So no, Nate Schroeder. Oh yeah. So yeah. He was just outing them. That's what's up, J-Rod. This guy, Rod Winarski, says Detroit versus everybody except the Bears. That's not how it works. It doesn't work that way. It's Detroit versus everybody. All right. So back to the article. He says, I know that nobody wants to hear this, but the Lions aren't doing anything wrong. They're not being too physical during practice. They're not overextending or exerting their players. And it's definitely not because of the training staff. This is just good old-fashioned bad luck. Take the injury that this guy is responding to with this comment. Ahmed Hassani was being evaluated for a leg injury after being rolled up on during a play at practice. In what way could an athletic trainer prevent him from being rolled up on? All the conditioning in the world isn't going to stop that from potentially causing an injury. On top of that, the majority of the Lions' injuries are soft tissue injuries, things like ACLs, hamstrings, calf strains, and sprains. These are injuries that usually occur because of usage, meaning that they get used a lot and eventually things happen. It's not really something that you can strengthen because all you're doing then is using it even more. Plus, once something like a hamstring tear happens, it's much more likely to happen again than it was before the tear. Brad Holmes, are you listening? Okay, it's a battle you just can't really win. In terms of some of the longer term stuff, it's the same thing. You keep using that ACL, eventually it could tear. It doesn't happen for everyone because everyone's body is different, but it happens for some guys, as we know. This might be the recurring injury in the NFL. It's hard to avoid because, again, how do you train to avoid an injury that comes from usage and stress in a league that is nothing but players using and stressing their bodies? Remember, Aleem McNeil jumped up in the air and landed on his knee and tore his ACL. Right? Oh, he didn't land on his knee. He landed, right? He landed on one foot and it reverberated and tore his ACL. 3 guys break bones in their limbs last year. What are trainers supposed to do to stop that? Have everyone on a strong milk regimen, right? So we talked about Aiden Hutchinson when we started off this thing. They should have just gave him the full Wolverine treatment and injected the hot adamantium into his bone, into his skin, through the muscle and down to the bone. And they would have done this with syringes. If y'all don't know how Wolverine got the adamantium on his bones, that's what I'm telling you. Okay? All over the body with the syringes. Like it was molten hot adamantium. Okay, that's why they had to have him in that tub, because he could have died, right? So you can say, well, maybe the Lions should stop signing injury-prone players. And to a point, you're right. I 100% agree. 100%. But the Lions have had some luck with players who have been injured before, and it's not like they're the only team doing this. They're just the only team you pay 100% of your attention to, and that's why you notice it way more. What trainers can do for the Lions to prevent injuries is to do their best. Make sure that these guys are doing things the right way. Make sure everyone is properly stretched and warmed up. Help players rehab correctly. Make sure form is right and things like that. Even if they were 100% perfect at all of that, it wouldn't prevent someone from getting hurt. This is just what it is right now. The Lions just need to catch some breaks on the injury front. Okay. I 100% agree with this. I think most of you in the chat agree with this. This is not something that you can prevent with the strength and conditioning staff. You don't stop Aiden Hutchinson from breaking his leg, strength and conditioning staff. You don't stop Marcus Davenport's litany of injuries because of a strength and conditioning staff, right? Remember when Marcus Davenport got injured last season, there were a lot of people going on and on about it being a non-football play and this guy did this on purpose and all these things. Yeah, that's what happened. So what did the strength and training and conditioning staff have to do with that? Anybody? I don't think too much. All right, let me see what y'all got in the chat. No problem, J-Rod. You know what it is. Detroit versus everybody, full stop, is correct. Your Bears secondary is banged up. So is your secondary quarterback. I've heard some people talking of Jay Schuler, Detroit trainer. Well, this guy's name was Nate Schroeder. And Nate Schroeder said they need to fire this whole staff. And he posted their names. F Green Bay for sure. F Green Bay, FTB, FTV, FTNFC, FTAFC, FTNSC North, FTNFL, other than the Detroit Lions. You know what it is. All right. So that is what happened with all of that stuff. Okay. Now, back here, we have a few things. I know we heard Brad Holmes talking. Brad Holmes has some regrets, y'all. Brad Holmes has some regrets. They asked Brad Holmes this question at training camp because they said, we like to ask all the GMs this one question. What is your regret? Like, who is your regret? You regret not drafting this player. Excuse me. I don't like Brad Holmes' answer. I get the answer. I understand the answer. I would like to have seen Brad Holmes say, I regret not really addressing the defensive line in the draft outside of Aiden Hutchinson. That's what I would like to have seen. I would like to have heard Brad Holmes say that he regrets signing Cam Sutton. I think the question was just about the draft. Now y'all know I wasn't a defender of Cam Sutton pre-choke. But I did want to put things into perspective as to why he was looking so bad out there, because initially he didn't look that bad. And then he got hurt. And I think he was dealing with turf toe. And he looked like he was plodding out there. He was kind of picking the foot up and putting it down. He wasn't running like he usually does. Okay? But I would say that would be a regret. In this same sentence where he gave his regret, Tactical Sport, you'll like this one. He didn't say, I regret drafting Broderick Martin. He didn't say, I regret drafting Hendon Hooker. He didn't say, I regret drafting Colby Sorsdahl. He said, I regret not drafting Puka Nacua. Okay? That's what he said. He regrets not drafting Puka Nacua. That's the one where he's like, if I could have that one back, blah, 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 blah. Puka Nacua was drafted in the 5th round. Don't beat yourself up too much about that, Brad. Amon-Ra St. Brown was drafted in the 4th round. Brad Holmes took him. If Brad Holmes would have drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, and Puka Nacua in the same draft class, bro, what? Bro, what? So, yes, we did get Broderick Martin. We got Colby Sorsdahl. We got Hendon Hooker. All of those names that I mentioned to you, you'd rather have Puka Nacua instead of any of those guys. Okay? 100%. Here was a question that I saw get asked on the heavies. Shout out. Would Puka Nacua being on the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game, would Jared Goff throwing the football to Puka Nacua instead of Josh Reynolds have changed the fortunes of the Detroit Lions? I'm going to tell you this. I believe, had that been the case, had Puka been healthy, had Puka been available that game, and then you throw the football to him instead of Josh Reynolds, I think your answer is yes. I think Puka Nacua catches those passes. Am I upset that we didn't draft Puka Nacua? No. I'm not upset that we didn't draft Puka Nacua. Here's the question that I have for everybody. Does Puka Nacua become Puka Nacua in this offense? Does Puka Nacua become Puka Nacua in this offense? Puka Nacua, when he was drafted, he immediately became the number 2 wide receiver behind Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua had a much different situation and opportunity in LA than what he would have had here. Would he have been the Batman to Amon-Ra St. Brown's Robin? Or would he have been the Robin to Amon-Ra St. Brown's Batman? Probably right away, I would say. Okay, we still didn't know at the time what exactly we had in J-Mo. I mean, I knew it. A lot of y'all didn't. But my question is obviously that, and the other question, the follow-up question is, do we talk about Puka Nacua now than the way we talked about it? We'll talk about him then, right? Would it be different if he was on the Detroit Lions right now as opposed to him being on the Los Angeles Rams? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. All right. Let's see what we got here. He said regrets on not signing an edge rusher. That would have been me. That's what I wanted to hear. You can throw better than Tyson Bagent, then maybe you should go try out. Regrets trading up for Broderick Martin. Regrets on drafting injured players. Puka was drafted after Broderick Martin. Yes, Puka was drafted in the 5th round. Dan Johnson wants a 2 tight end set. What is you like? Calling him Dan Johnson is just weirder than wanting him in the first place. Like, the Dan is here. Y'all don't have none of the Dan. Like, none of the Dan came with him. That's all the Ben. That's all the Benedict. That's all the Osama. None of the Dan came. What up, though, Flying Wyatt? Flying Wyatt says, I still think he does. Behind St. Brown, J-Mo would have been number 3, which would be normal for your speedy deep threat. Detroit fan man, what up though? He says, let's just all agree to call him Skinny P and keep it moving. We're not calling him Skinny P. The reason I'm telling you that we're not calling him Skinny P is because it evokes more pain, right? We're calling this man Skinny P, and then the P word is not, I'm going to share something with y'all. The reason I hate Matt Patricia even more is because my mother's name was Patricia. And he besmirched the name of my mother. So I hate him even more. But when we say in the context of calling him Skinny P or Skinny Patricia, like, we have to invoke his name. Like, two snakes, Osama bin Johnson, we're giving him the nickname of Skinny P. Like, both of them are snakes in the grass, lying in the weeds, lying in wait. That's why I have a problem with calling him Skinny P. It's Osama bin Johnson or Benedict Johnson. Those are the two that you have. Or is there another famous traitor or terrorist that you can think of, right? That wouldn't rhyme with his name, or not would rhyme, that would use his name? I don't think so. But if y'all can find one, we'll definitely try it out. We'll try it on for size, see if it works, But Osama bin Johnson is perfect. He's a terrorist. All right. The next topic that we are going to touch on is the Detroit Lions will be practicing against the Miami Dolphins. Joint practices. What do we want to see in these joint practices? Minkah Fitzpatrick is back with the Miami Dolphins. He was originally drafted by the Miami Dolphins, who they somehow let him go to Pittsburgh, and now they have him back. But in regaining Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Detroit Lions have lost. Sorry, what did I say? Why did I say Ryan Fitzpatrick? Minkah Fitzpatrick, sorry. All right, with regaining Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Miami Dolphins have lost Jalen Ramsey. And was it also Jonnu Smith? Did Jonnu Smith go with Jalen Ramsey in the trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know. Javon Holland is pretty good. He's a guy that a lot of Lions fans wanted to draft. Minkah Fitzpatrick is good. What is their corner situation? That's my question. What is their corner situation? Andrew Van Ginkel is gone. He went to the Vikings last season. What's their linebacking core looking like? So they have question marks, and they also have a stigma to beat, which is being soft. The Miami Dolphins are soft. And the reason is they don't play smash mouth football, right? Even though they brought the run scheme from San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, just doesn't really look the same. So, what are we expecting to see from these people? Bears are going to terrorize the Lions. I don't know. Maybe if Caleb gets into our locker room, he might do some terrorizing then. Tactical Sports says, I want to see Tate go against other starters from another team. Okay, that's fair. I want to see Williams against other starters. So J-Mo's interesting for me. I don't want to see him against other starters, because I don't think that there are cornerbacks in this league that can cover Jameson Williams. Coming out of Baltimore, has anybody heard anything about Nate Wiggins? Aside from DJ Reed, who has studied film every day watching Jameson Williams, aside from all of that, I would think that Nate Wiggins is the only one that can keep up stride for stride and step for step with Jameson Williams. But what is his technique looking like? Is he pushing for a starting role? When we play the Dolphins, not the Dolphins, when we play the Ravens, will Nate Wiggins even be playing? because on pure measurables alone, he matches up very well with Jameson Williams. Does he have the skill to cover Jameson Williams while he's running routes at that speed? That's remaining to be seen. Okay. All right. So, J-Mo, I don't know, man. I think he's going to cook everybody. And I don't need to see it. Obviously, we're going to see what he does in this joint, in these joint practices. But I feel like J-Mo is going to cook everybody. Tate is a good one to see Tate go up against other starters, because when he played in the preseason against Atlanta, I don't think he was going up against their starting offensive line or even their starting defensive line. So, what I want to see, because I know he's going to get an opportunity. I want to see Hendon Hooker look like a competent NFL quarterback, bro. I'm tired of this. They just need him to have him on a field of his own with the same situation, right? A field of his own over by wherever, and he's just slinging a rock against these Miami Dolphins reserves or whatever have you, or starters that aren't playing in the moment, whatever. I just need Hendon Hooker to be starting. Okay? That's what I want. What's another one? Here's the one. Isaac TeSlaa. I would like to see Isaac TeSlaa against number one corners of the Miami Dolphins. That's what I want to see the most. Because while I am backing down, I'm not backing down. There's nothing to back down from, because I didn't say he wouldn't. I didn't say he would. Okay? I would like for Isaac TeSlaa to show up and to show out. I would like to see him as the third string defender, but that guy is proven so inept that I would like to see him be I'd like to see him be the receiver that comes out and gets the reps. I don't really need to see too much else. I don't need to see Hutchinson against Teron Armstead, or is he still their left tackle? Is Teron Armstead still their left tackle? I don't really need to see that matchup. Okay? I just want to see what TeSlaa goes out there and does. Does TeSlaa make these spectacular catches? Does he make any circus catches? Does he make any catches where he is around the field, right? That's what I want to see. Do y'all believe the TeSlaa hype is real? Let me know what you think in the chat. What up, though, Mr. Morale 313? Caleb looks like hot garbage. That's what I've been told. What up, though? Just a fan. All right. Oh, Tactical Sports says not J-Mo, Tyleik Williams. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. All right. While you guys get your responses in the chat, I shall be right back. And we are back. Your boy had to go ahead and get that. All right. On the defensive side of the ball, like we did say, Tyreek, I want to see if he can live in that backfield like he supposedly did at Ohio State. I'd like to see if he's able to get penetration against starting defense or offensive linemen in the NFL. I don't want to see Marcus Davenport in there at all. I don't want to see that. You know why? Because the last thing we need to do is come in here tomorrow night and be talking about the Marcus Davenport injury. I don't want to see that. Don't do it. Don't put him in any game action until it's actual game action. Terrion Arnold has been down. I want to see Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch make Tua Tagovailoa look silly. If Tua's even practicing, because, you know, he's one hit away from his brains turning to mush. Y'all killing Caleb. Y'all killing me in this chat. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me. Robert. Calm down, Robert. Shout out if you know, you know. Like I said, I mean, Hutch is going to be Hutch. Hutch is going to do Hutch things. We already know. Shout out to Jared Goff making a reference to Aaron Donald while talking about Aiden Hutchinson. That is huge, very high, super duper high praise from your quarterback who played with Aaron Donald to mention Aaron Donald and you in the same breath. So really, I mean, as far as the defensive line play, I just want to see what Tyreek does. As far as the secondary play, I mean, we got DJ Reed, Amik Robertson as your corners, and you've got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch as your safeties. Kind of want to see this secondary eat. I want to see picks from everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You got Caleb Williams painting his nails. You got the Minnesota Vikings using male cheerleaders. Do what you want to do, say what you want to say. I mean, it is what it is, bro. The only excuse a man has for being a cheerleader in the NFL is he just trying to get free tickets to the game. You know what I'm saying? He over there shaking the pom-poms like, all right, yeah, okay, go team. All right. What are you doing, Broderick? Shut up, I'm watching the game. It's pretty much it. So the Minnesota Vikings are now employing, I think it's 2 male cheerleaders. I'm going to say this, but I'm going to try to say it in a way where I'm not going to get canceled. Or maybe I'm just not big enough to get canceled yet. I'm going to say this. Cheerleaders are a thing that blew up in the league around the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are famous. They have calendars like swimsuit calendars, all types of stuff going on. They dress in a way, and then people have gone, hey, it would be a great idea for y'all to do calendars every year. Dress in the way that you dress. There's a certain demographic of fan that they brought these cheerleaders in for. I don't know the demographic of fan that you've brought these dudes in here for. Especially since a male cheerleader ain't gonna he's not gonna dress in a way. Right? So even the demographic that would benefit from seeing these male cheerleaders don't have the candy of the eyes that the other demographic has. Do you understand? You following me? Are you following me? Because that's as vaguely as I can say it without saying anything in particular that I don't get canceled for, or, you know, someone's going to report me, or someone's going to get angry and storm out. I don't know. The Vikings fans demographic. Just a Fan says full facts. Tactical Sport says hashtag R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. And if R. Kelly goes to jail, I'ma piss on your cat. Damn, Mr. Dubois, you just got owned by an 8-year-old. Just a Fan says, so that male cheerleader stuff is true? Yep, to my knowledge. To my knowledge. Oh my God, bro. I think I've told that story behind it. Not to my knowledge, no. Not to my knowledge, no. That guy, bro. If that dude was, if OJ did it was a person. If OJ did it was a person. The Kansas City Strangler. You have to look him up. He's that man is the most delusional liar I have ever met. Well, I haven't met him, but you know, that I've ever seen. But we found you with the weapon that you use to off this person in your possession. You were running down the street with it. And you were running down the street with it after hopping out of this man's car. And you telling me you don't know what happened to this man and how he... Not to my knowledge, no. Have you ever met the victim? Not to my knowledge, no. Well, how did you come to be in possession of his vehicle? To my knowledge, I don't know. That dude, he's special. He's special. All right. I got off topic, but it's fine because I can do that. It's my show. Right? What are we talking about? We're talking about food. Let's talk about football. Let's get the conversation back. If you know, you know. J-Rod knows. All right. So let me go back up and see. Flying Wyatt says, I absolutely do believe the Tesla hype he's going to turn into our Puka. So the heavies called him Puka Nacua today. Nacua, right? Talking about Caleb again, painting nails, all this. Okay. Tactical Sports says, I want to see Marcus Davenport wrapped in bubble wrap. Me too, for sure. I want to see him in bubble wrap until the start of the regular season. Male cheerleader drag queens. That's funny because of the Vikings, right? Let's see here. That is a real Minnesota thing to do in this new Minnesota. So sad, in my opinion. Just call them Vi Queens, LOL. That's what we call them that already. JSJ, what up, though? He says they have male cheerleaders for the Falcons and Hawks, SMH. They just wear the tracksuits, though. That's what I'm saying. So you're wearing a tracksuit. What's the appeal? You feel me? You know, if the female cheerleaders were wearing nun outfits, they wouldn't have them out there, because I know we can't say certain things these days, but look how nuns dress and look how the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders dress. It's not the same. It's not the same. So if you put nuns out there, you're not going to get the same rise from the fans. You like how I did that? You're not going to get the same rise from the fans that you're trying to get by putting the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders out there. But I digress. When I see piss, I move. When she see piss, she stay. Bro, I'm going to have to go back through, bro. And just the whole series again. That was our, this era, good times. That was our Cosby Show. That was our Martin. That was everything rolled into one in this era. Shout out to the early 2000s and the Boondocks. They had a heck of a show, but they ruined it. And a lot of people were asleep. A lot of people didn't get the messages. A lot of people thought it was just comedy, but it wasn't. It wasn't just comedy. He was talking to the people. Jessica Fan says no longer the Vikings, now the Minnesota Killer Queens. No, Vi Queens. I guess that's better than Mayotron. I don't like any of the Tron nicknames, bro. I said this before. Megatron is Megatron. That's him. Let him be him. Right? I would, so we're trying to say, okay, he's a white receiver, and then we're trying to put it right. Let's call him Vanilla Ice. Why not? Let's call him Eminem. Let's call him Slim Shady. Let's call him Marshall Mathers. Let's like if we're gonna do that because he's white, and I'm not gonna shy away from it because I don't have a problem with him being white and being a boss and being dominant and being a freaking athletic freak. I don't have a problem with this. Right? He's a white guy. He's a white guy. He's a human to me, right? He's a guy that plays football very well, and he'll help my team hopefully win a lot of games. Okay? But if we're going with the undertones as far as nicknames, well, this again, let's just do those things, right? Don't call him MGK because he's, MGK sucks. I don't want to call him Bumblebee, and I don't want none of this Transformer stuff. Optimus Prime. That is Calvin Johnson's thing. Roy Williams said that man looks like a Transformer. He said he looks like Megatron. Okay? Isaac Tesla is tall. He's 6'4". He is not Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson looked like a goddamn robot. You understand what I'm saying to you? The muscle, everything. That's why he called him Megatron, because he was such a big human being, and he was so strong and fast and all that other stuff. Isaac Tesla doesn't fit that mold. That you just see him and you're like, God damn. God damn. Lord have mercy. Goodness gracious. Right? like Megatron, bro. I don't want to go against that man. as a cornerback. God, man, this dude here, boy. And then and the physicality, brother. Come on now. Like Calvin Johnson is if Derrick Henry was a wide receiver. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a difference, man. Yeah, but the male cheerleaders for the Falcons and the Hawks are for stunts. The male cheerleaders for the Vikings will have pom-poms. Let's go full Boondocks. Call Tesla Slickback. A receiver named Slickback. A receiver named Slickback. You got to say the whole thing. I don't like coleslaw though. It's I don't like coleslaw. It's not. Nah. Cause it like when you call a person, like you have to say that part. Coleslaw. Why do you call him coleslaw? Cause he's white and he's deadly if he's left open for too long. It's too much. It's got a whole freaking description behind it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like that one. We have to find a better one. That's what I said. Slickback. No, it's a pimp named Slickback. You gotta say the whole thing. No, we can't call him Slickback for short. Like a Tribe Called Quest. I don't know. We'll have to find a nickname for Tesla. I mean, we could go with we could call him the Model Y or like something. I mean, we could. I know a lot of people don't like Elon Musk right now, but SpaceX. Let's call him because he's an ex-receiver. SpaceX. That's what we're doing right now. SpaceX. Come on now. Tesla. Hey, come on now. SpaceX. I'm going with it. Flying Hawaiian says Don wins. No, just a fan. We're not good. If we call him White Boy Rick. Rick. Oh, shout out. So it's between SpaceX and White Boy Rick. I should put a poll in the chat. Oh my God. I will not be the keeper of this law. No. He said, I can get down with White Boy Riggs. You'll like SpaceX though. Does your bestie Don Burr come here? I don't think so. Unless he's known by another name. I like SpaceX, bro. I feel like that's. I feel like that's great. I feel like it's SpaceX, right? Because people want to call him Cybertron, which is the planet of the freaking Transformers. So that's space in itself, and he's an ex-receiver. SpaceX. I'm going with it. He might have played in the slot a little bit, but he's got the body type of an X. No, see, no. Space Twitter. So SpaceX is a company that has nothing to do with Twitter, unless is that why he called it X? Because he already had SpaceX? That's dumb. But everyone said, I mean, like the X is pretty illegitimate. Nobody's adopting it. But you just have to go to x.com. You can't go to twitter.com anymore. Does twitter.com redirect to x.com? Like, can you, hold on. I'm going to put this in. Let me try this out. Hold on. Let me see if you can still go to twitter.com and get to X. Twitter.com goes directly to x.com. Elon Musk knows people are still calling it Twitter and still typing into, you never have to type in x.com. You can still type in twitter.com. Elon Musk has not gotten rid of twitter.com, the domain. The URL twitter.com redirects to x.com. If you do not want to ever type in just x.com, you can type in twitter.com and you can go directly to X. Calvin Johnson, yep, I have his rookie card patch. Well, you better keep that because I have a story about Shaq's rookie card that I think I've told here. Yeah, it ain't a great story. It's a painful story. Anyway, I'm going with SpaceX. That's what I'm calling them. I'm calling them SpaceX. Anyway, mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snicks, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. I'm gonna announce this. All right, I'm gonna announce this to the group. All right, hold on. All right, I just announced this to the group chat. All right, so I said, me in the chat have just come up with a nickname for Isaac Tesla. I wanted to leverage his last name and the infatuation that you all have with calling him a damn transformer, because we can't just let Megatron be Megatron. So we're going with SpaceX because he's an X, he's from space, and he's a Tesla. Mic drop. Boom. All right. What about Billy Hoyle? No. Why would we call him Billy Hoyle? All right. Let's see. Mailbag from Just Fans. He says, will the Lions O-line and D-line hold up? The D-line, I'm not as worried about, because I think we have less known unknowns or unknown unknowns. I think on the offensive line, we have too many known unknowns and some unknown unknowns. We think Tate's going to be great. We think Christian Mahogany is going to be great, but we're leveraging that with a little sample size that we've seen Tate in preseason and camp, Christian Mahogany, a game against the Bears last year, and Brad Holmes' ability to draft offensive line talent and to be able to find that talent in the later rounds. So I'm more concerned about the offensive line when the real bullets start flying. The only known unknown that we have on the defensive line is Tyleik Williams. And he's really just got to hold up until Aleem McNeil gets back. Obviously, a known unknown that we have is Marcus Davenport's health. But, I mean, let's just hedge our bets here and say that he does stay healthy for X amount of games. We could be bringing Zadarius Smith back. I don't know what's going on with Cash Doll. Apparently, they broke up publicly, but some tweets were deleted and some Instagram posts were deleted, and they may be working things out. I don't know. Zadarius Smith comes back. If you don't worry about Marcus Davenport anymore, you let Marcus Davenport go out there for 2 games, play with his hair on fire, and then Zadarius takes it over for the rest of the year. Now, you can do with that what you will and what you may. So, yes. Short answer, I would say the D-line will hold up. The offensive line, to be determined, I think. TBD. I know who that's what I'm saying. I know who Billy Hoyle is. Why would we call him Billy Hoyle? If white men can't jump, Tesla can. We don't want to call him Billy Hoyle. Will the O-line hold up to your Bears defense? We do it all the time. That's Flying Hawaiian, right? Exactly. That's the point. But Billy Hoyle was, he was laying in wait. He was hustling folks. I don't think Tesla is hustling. You know what I mean? Like, you just assume, but we know Tesla's a baller. Tesla came out. Nobody's going to be surprised, when he's doing what he's doing. Happy Gilmore. No. What is this? Happy Gilmore. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. White Chocolate is already taken by Jason Williams. Waterboy too. See, now we know why I'm the nickname man. I came up with the electrician, Khamir Gibbs. Okay, I came up with that. What else did I come up with? I feel like there was something else, but I forgot it. Who you think came up with Ankasa, the main attraction? Okay, it wasn't me. I still kind of like receiver named Slickback, not gonna lie. So I get that, you get that, other people in the chat get that. I don't think everyone would understand the connotation between that. And we're just calling them that because we were into the Boondocks conversation. So I don't know. I don't know if that just tracks across state lines, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Where it doesn't really match him. It doesn't stick. Ryan Warnowski says 100% facts. He says his Bears will be happy to win a game this season. But ironically, he's white, you know? I mean, listen. The ultimate white nickname is Rice. If you just want to call this man Rice, that's it. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to put nothing in. You ain't got to call it steamed rice, nothing. Right? Just rice. That's all you got to say. Whitey boy. I don't think any of that's going to work. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Or if you just call him rice or call him milk. Shady Milkman. Shady Milkman. What you know about that? Shout out. Who knows the Shady Milkmans? This one's got it. This one, Shady Milkman. What is that in reference to? The Electric Blizzard. Just not a fan. I get it. I understand. Megatron was an evil villain. Like, I get it. I understand, but we gotta put it aside. It's dope. It's a dope nickname, SpaceX. Like, that is crazy. Like, you like the way that I just thought about that. I was like, oh snap, SpaceX. I'm still waiting for somebody to give me the Shady Milkman. What y'all know about that? What y'all know about the Shady Milk? Does anybody know? Can anybody give me? Does anybody understand the reference? White Boy Rick is cool, but he's a drug dealer. I mean, I'm cool with White Boy Rick. I don't know if Tesla would like that though. But White Boy Rick is good, you know? Yeah. I like White Boy Rick. I like it. It would be great if his name was Rick. But it's a Detroit thing. We got it. Yes, Tyler Spork, it was a sneaker. What kind of sneaker was it? I know this because I had a pair. I thought it was a very cool thing that Nike was doing. It was. This is a picture of the Shady Milkman's. It was Nike Presto. Nike Presto. Shady Milkman. I had a pair of these. Don't know what happened to them, but I had a pair of them. And obviously, I like them because they are Michigan colors. So, yes, I did have that. Now, the crazy thing, right? You find a lot of sock shoes these days. You find a lot of shoes that are mesh or this type of material. Nike was kind of the pioneer of that because you did not find a lot of those back in the day. I had a pair of those in high school, but now you will find a bunch of them around. I've got like 3 pairs of mesh shoes. I actually had to go get some Timbs because I didn't have anything for the rain. So I'm like, dog, every time it rains, my freaking feet are getting soaked. So I'm not a wet sock person. Don't like that. Don't like wet socks at all. A sneaker of a milkman. All right. So right now we're preliminarily we're going with SpaceX and White Boy Rick. I think those are the only kind of nicknames that allow Isaac Tesla to be himself and to not try to follow in the footsteps of Calvin Johnson just because he's 6'4" and he's fast, right? I don't like that. So I want the kid to be himself. All right. So that's what we got. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all for coming through, hanging out, stopping by for a conversation and a drink, which I did have today. All right. So once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static, whatever you do. Make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. I appreciate you, Just a Fan. I appreciate everyone here, and we are out. We shall see you next time. Peace.